In a world of quiet order and muted colors lived Elliot, a retired librarian whose life ran on a precise schedule. His home was a museum of memories, each object in its proper place, a fortress against the chaos of the world and the silence left by his late wife. His days were measured by the click of his tea kettle and the rustle of his newspaper, a routine designed to keep grief at bay. But one morning, chaos arrived in a whirlwind of colorful scarves and boundless energy. It was his sister, Anita, from the local animal rescue, with a 1-week trial that would append everything. This trial was Marley, a scruffy terrier mix who wasn't just spirited. She was a furry cannonball of anxiety. The moment she was out of her carrier, she rocketed into Elliot's pristine home, promptly christened his slipper, and then, with one enthusiastic tail wag, shattered a vase, and with it, the fragile piece of Elliot's world. The first few days were a masterclass in controlled chaos. Elliot measured dog food with scientific precision. Marley responded by tearing the bag open and rolling in the kibble. He tried to read. She used his book as a pillow, staring into his soul. Walks became a tangled mess. His favorite loafers were lovingly destroyed, and Elliot found himself counting to 10 more often than he had in years. Yet, in the quiet darkness of the evenings, as he looked at a photo of his wife, Marley would rest her head on his knee. He wouldn't pet her, but he also wouldn't push her away. A tiny crack was forming in his fortress. Then, a piece of the puzzle fell into place. His sharp-eyed neighbor, Mrs. Lowry, mentioned a rumor from the rescue. Marley had a shadow, a puppy from the same hoarding case they were rescued from. They had been inseparable. That night, a thunderstorm turned Marley into a quivering wreck, hiding under the sofa. Remembering what his neighbor said, Elliot got down on the floor beside her. He didn't try to pull her out. He just lay there, talking softly about the weather, about books, about his wife, Helen. He stayed there all night, a quiet companion in the storm, and for the first time, Marley's panicked breathing began to slow. He realized she wasn't just anxious, she was lonely, just like him. The next morning, Elliot marched into the rescue, not to return Marley, but to find her shadow. In a small kennel was Chewie, a fluffy ball of optimism, happily chewing on his water bowl. When Marley saw him, a sound Elliot had never heard before, pure, joyous, yip escaped her. As they touched noses through the bars, their tails a blur of happiness, Elliot knew they were a package deal. His sister warned him it would be double the trouble. But with a small, genuine smile, Elliot replied, "I'm counting on it." His home was no longer a museum. It became a beautiful, lived-in mess. Dog beds appeared next to his own. Walks were a comical trio of tangles and laughter. His loafers were replaced by practical boots, and the house filled with the sounds of life barks, claws on wood, and Elliot's own voice, talking to his 2 new companions. He was no longer just existing. He was living. One sunny afternoon in the park, Anita brought him the official adoption papers. As he looked at Marley, who had just dropped a slimy ball on his shoe with endless hope in her eyes, and Chewie, who was happily chasing his own tail, he took the leashes. They felt right in his hand. Looking at his chaotic, wonderful dogs, he announced a new rule, the only one that now mattered. We are a family. And as the 3 of them walked home, not in a perfect straight line, but together, the door to the one silent house stood open, welcoming the light, the noise, and the life that had finally returned. This is how Marley and Chewie became a family, and how Elliot did too. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.